Here we are. Long live the rogue trader. Good to see y'all. Yeah, this is quite the welcome. Better than the one we got at Janus. Or Janus. Or Janus. The Emperor protects. Welcome home, your lordship. I am Clementia Wesserian, Court Chancellor of the von Valancius dynasty. On behalf of all of Dargonus, please accept my deepest condolences on the untimely passing of Theodora von Valancius. Her departure is a terrible blow to us all, but as one star expires, another always flares to life. And although still overcome with bitterness and grief, your subjects hope that you will become the trade dynasty's guiding light in these trying times. I don't think I can do a worse job than she did. Clementia. Abelard offers a reserved nod. She nods in return, and the lines on his brow soften ever so slightly. Well, he's an interesting looking dude. Achilles Scalander, Secretary at the Administratum Department. I hope your journey to Dargonus was not darkened by unwanted troubles. Bro, literally the first thing that happened when we got here is that some douchebags tried to murder us. Yeah. We had some incidents, but those are irrelevant at this moment. Quite right, your lordship. What happened cannot be changed. You still have great deeds ahead of you, so let us look to the future with hope in our hearts. Does your lordship wish to survey the grounds, or perhaps we could sate your curiosity by answering any questions you might have? Governor Urbend Driveston has been notified of your arrival on Dargonus and will visit the palace shortly. The preparations for the official visit are well in hand, but your lordship still has plenty of time before the meeting. Yeah. How are you related to our boy Abelard? You heard correctly, your lordship. I'm of House of Seren, Lord Abelard's granddaughter and direct descendant. Okay. Cool. The succession of service is an effective good. It grants new generations understanding of their function within the mechanism. Chancellor Wesserian has held her position at the von Valancius court for many years. She earned Lord Captain Theodora's respect through acts of great perseverance. There's no room for doubt. Blood had nothing to do with it. Time will tell. All that concerns is the prosperity of my protectorate. Yes. Yeah, I mean, they're all fine, but... you have reason to be proud. Thank you, Lord Captain. I would like to rest before meeting. Where are my chambers? Yeah, why isn't the governor here? Apologies, your lordship. Governor Driveston's residence is on the other side of the world, by the Administratum Palace of Dargonus. We sent word as soon as you entered the system, but it takes time to travel to great distances of your domain. On the other side of the world. So we could travel through like a whole solar system and kill some Mechanicus scumbags. But he can't get here in that time. Okay. That's efficient transportation systems we have. Chancellor Wesserian appears unruffled, but you cannot shake the thought that the governor's lateness is a subtle political gesture designed to test the limits of what is acceptable when it comes to interacting with the new rogue trader. I see. Alright, well, maybe we will have to get the flamer. Okay, I'd like to rest before the meeting. Where are my chambers? They are very close, just down the hall. That is also where the study and the audience chamber are. Lady Theodora's study has remained locked since her last departure, but, on account of your arrival, We've arranged for it to be tidied up. It is ready whenever you may need it. Cool. I apologise for my bluntness, but I have a request to make. Perhaps before the meeting takes place, the illustrious Lord Captain could spare a few minutes for a conversation with me. I'm certain that you will find my report on the state of affairs in the Von Valencia's Protectorate most useful. Well, hopefully we find it useful. Otherwise, you're pretty cringe, aren't you there, buddy? Oh, man. Okay, it's just us now. Oh, Jai's here. Okay, so this is, No, toss a coin. Glinting in the light, the coin falls into the clear water and sinks to the bottom. So this is kind of like the same thing as our ship, where, you know, everyone's just hanging out here. Head of Kiava Gemma's delegation. Okay, so is that because we put these guys in charge of Kiava Gemma? That's a nice little feature, isn't it? Okay, the palace. Our new digs. Oh. Hello. Welcome, your lordship. Let me inform you of the location of the chambers of your dynastic estate. Okay, well, if you could just do that, that'd be super. The main throne room is up the stairs and straight ahead. Your subject, Achilles Scalander, informed me that he humbly awaits the opportunity to meet with you there. Cool. Alright, well, I guess I'll go do that then. If you'll let me leave. If your lordship wishes to rest after your long journey, then your personal chambers are up the stairs and on the right. Okay, so personal chambers on the right. And if you need anything, whatever your soul desires, I'll be right next to your chambers, eagerly awaiting your orders. Oh, okay, I've got like a manservant. I've got Jeeves the manservant. Awesome. Well, thank you. Thank you, manservant. Here he is. Oh, and Henrix is here, of course. Achilles, it's been many moons. I hope your cousin is feeling well. She's in good health. She sends her regards to you as well as her wishes for your swift return. For as long as the stars shine in the sky, my vigil continues. So it does. I'm not so foolish as to fail to notice a conversation in code. Your insight deserves credit, rogue trader. Then again, I expected nothing less from Theodora von Valencia's successor. Allow me to introduce Achilles Scalander properly. In addition to his duties as Secretary of the Administratum, he acts as an agent of the Golden Throne under my Aegis? It's Aegis. It's not Aegis, isn't it? It's Aegis. Master Scalander was transferred into my remit by a colleague who is engaged in other matters in the Coronis Expanse. I'm sure you will find Achilles' services useful, especially when dealing with the schemes of humanity's foes within the borders of your protectorate. Greetings! Allow me once again to express my deepest condolences on the loss of Lady Theodora. I'll do everything I can to track down and destroy all of Conrad Voigtvir's accomplices on the capital world. Yeah. We need all of their heads. Yeah, do you know anything about him? Because I'd love to see him again. I'd love nothing more. Word of his treason reached Dargonus too late. Conrad came to the planet and left it almost immediately once he had sown discord in the minds of the gullible and naive. The worst of the rumours he started was that you were the one responsible for Lady Theodora's sudden demise. Of course, your loyal subjects did their best to skin alive any who showed signs of doubt, but it seems unlikely that the Wardens got to everyone who has allowed doubt into their heart and now nurtures it in secret. Oh. It's always the same old thing, isn't it? Okay, well. Yeah, present your report then, good sir. I've already forwarded all official reports to your Seneschal. As for the conversation we're having right now, I wouldn't trust any paper or data slate with its contents. You see, Lady Theodora, may the Emperor have mercy on her soul, was perfectly aware of Dargonus' political environment. You, however, have only just arrived on the capital world, and I thought it would be best to bring you up to speed. Frankly, the nobles of Dargonus, much like nobles on most worlds, are akin to spiders in a jar, ready to pounce on whoever is the weakest, or whomever they deem to be the weakest. Yeah, let them come. The nobles of Dargonus are well-respected, rich and powerful individuals who held Lady Theodora's favour for many years and found ways to rise above the rest by diligently serving the rogue trader. Every family pursues its own selfish interests, and each one expects that with the transition of power, they will retain and even add to their lands and wealth. The families I would recommend giving particular attention to are the Drivestems, yeah, well, we know they're douchebags, the Graphics, and the Sourbacks. Have we heard that name somewhere before? I feel like we have, but I don't remember where. I should also mention the Wissarians, not a noble house per se, but a family that was part of Lady Theodora's inner circle, to the Blue Bloods' great displeasure. Yeah, tell me about the Sourbacks. Religious and hard-working, the Sourbacks own many enterprises, including distillation, manufactorums that produce promethium. I must note that lately members of the Sourback family have been prone to overly liberal statements about the von Valancius dynasty. They believe that Lady Theodora was a bit too keen to leave her worlds without proper oversight. I think they are correct. Judging by the number of messes that we've had to clean up, I think that's a pretty fair statement. Alright, tell us about the Wissarians. The Wissarians are a line founded by Lady Theodora's seneschal, and as such are nominally considered nobility, at least from the standpoint of the Imperial Navy from which Lord Abelard hails. On Dargonus, however, their position is precarious. Firstly, they were never granted an official title, a process which has been impeded for decades by the old houses of Dargonus, and secondly, the other families do not see them as equals, but more upstarts clinging to the rogue trader's favour. The Wissarians are responsible for the capital world's fleet and the majority of the cargo shipments on domestic routes. Okay, what about the Drivestems, or the Driverstems? The Drivestems are an ancient governor house of Dargonus. Predictably, the greater the wealth of the von Valancius protectorate, the fuller their coffers grow. Their reputation is flawless except for one detail. We have evidence that urban Drivestems rivals seem to have the misfortune of regularly falling victim to Xenos raids. I find that these attacks are always a little too advantageous for the Drivestems, but we lack solid proof, and it might never surface. The closer an official is to a rogue trader, the braver and safer they feel. I would just like to remind everyone that rubbing shoulders with Xenos is a heresy that can be overlooked only in the case of the von Valancius heir, not his servant. What makes the Graphics special? The Graphics hail from a remote Forge world, and among their distant relatives there are many servants of the Omnissiah, and the house itself is close to the cult of the Adeptus Mechanicus, both in spirit and in their business connections. The Graphics oversaw the industrial shipments within your protectorate until recently. Ever since the astropathic communication with Kiava Gamma was severed, they've been quite concerned about the security of the planet placed in their care. It was in their care? Well, they did a horrible job. They did a, they dropped the ball on that one. These are grim tidings. It's a tragedy that an industrial world of such tremendous capacity was brought down by the pernicious influence of the arch-enemy. Perhaps my colleagues can pick up the cultist trail in the cold void. Of course, it would be a small consolation to us all. Yeah, I feel the urge to have them executed. No. Was there anything else you wanted to report? There was, your lordship, and this time it concerns the main reason for my presence on this planet, Xenos, and the threat they pose to you and to humanity as a whole. The last few months have been difficult for the people who report to me. My eyes and ears scattered throughout the Coronis expanse. Warp disturbances, astropaths overcome with madness, ships disappearing in the immaterium, Many of my observers and contacts have gone dark or have been killed by some calamity or other. Still, I managed to establish communication with some key individuals who were able to warn me about incoming threats, including Xenos raids. It is within my power to supply you with the intelligence on when and where the Xenos will strike next. I do not doubt that Governor Driveston will beg you for protection against the Xenos, and in this fight the information from my contacts will serve you well. I beseech you, if I ever report a threat looming over a ship or a planet, do not dismiss it. Sometimes it takes an intervention from the rogue trader and his mighty void ship to avert a disaster. Okay. So is that all then? Alright, well, thanks for the information, bro. I'm not going to ask him about his scars. That's rude. According to the message I received a few minutes ago, Governor Driveston has arrived at court. I imagine that the Chancellor is already prepared to arrange the meeting. All that's left is to notify her that you are ready to see Urband. Alright, well, before we do that, let's check out my my chambers. What's in here? Oh, we got a fireplace. That's pretty cool. Man, I would not be able to sleep in a room this big, hey? It would freak me out. Oh, secret chamber. Oh, man. Okay, this is where the really messed up stuff is going to be. What were you hiding, Theodora? Mysterious item. Crafted by inhuman hands. What is this? The mysterious Xeno artifact rests in a stasis field. Oh, okay. Have a glass of wine. Alright, so we got Grandmaster's Blood, Boon of Terror, and Flame of Purity. The Flame of Purity, that sounds like a drink that'll affect you, doesn't it? The wine fills with glass, glittering in the dim light of the room like liquid gold. Its tangy flavour burns your throat, leaving behind a spicy, biting aftertaste. You hear a short, faint hum as an unseen motor stirs into motion. Several books are stacked next to the sofa. Some appear ancient, while others look like they have never been opened. Whoa, that's a lot of choices. Among Theodora's data that has been restored using a cogitator is the phrase Litanies of the Motive Force. It is the title of one of the books here. I guess we should grab that one then, shouldn't we? As you pick up the book, a hidden button in the spine clicks under your finger. Well, alright, imagine that. The room responds to your actions with a quiet grinding sound, and a small nook reveals itself in the nearby wall. Inside you find a data bank bearing the Von Valancius coat of arms. Data bank from Dargonus. Cool. Oh. I was like, what? Is it just a void? A black void? But no. Oh, nice. Is that going to be the Season 3 thumbnail? Yeah, well, we're pretty high up, hey? That's cool. Your lordship, the governor is waiting on the periphery of the palace. Please let me know when you would like to see him. Yeah, can we make him wait for a while? Can we be passive-aggressive? Sharp gaze, impeccably straight back, the composure for a moment. You feel like you're looking at a younger version of Abelard himself, not his heir. Judging by the scars on the exposed parts of her body, Clementia saw her a fair share of combat prior to assuming the position of Chancellor. Yeah, tell us about Scalander. Why, none at all, your lordship. Secretary Scalander is an outstanding individual and a loyal servant on the Von Valancius dynasty. In Lady Theodora's absence, we collaborated, on a number of issues related to the well-being of your domain, and he has proven himself quite capable, and I don't know why, but even the governor trembles before Achilles. Oh, okay. which is unusual for a man of his, shall we say, standing. Well, that's because Achilles is onto him. He knows the game. Yeah, what are your responsibilities? Oh yeah, you're not the governor, you're the chancellor. To put it simply, I'm your trade representative. Any and all decrees, deals, official communication, and meetings are first reviewed by me and then forwarded to you, and from you down the hierarchy. My purview also includes overseeing your lordship's property, the palace, the estates, the many gardens, and other demesnes of Dargonus that you have inherited from Lady Theodora, and whenever you are present on Dargonus, consider me your personal secretary. Cool. Alright, well yeah, tell me about Dargonus. All deals and important decisions are made here in the capital. Many years ago, an ancestor of Lady Theodora signed an agreement with the Adeptus Administratum which allowed for efficient management of the world and the neighbouring systems. In accordance with the decree, a share of the planet's population was assigned to the Administratum and converted into servitor scribes. They now toil across the entire world. That's dark. Dargonus is also the seat of several noble families who run all the major planets in the Protectorate. If I may express my not-so-humble opinion, they care very little about who exactly stands at the helm. Those piranhas think about their own profits just as much as they do about the prosperity of the Protectorate itself, if not more. I bet they do. And lastly, Dargonus has its own fleet, a luxury unavailable to the vast majority of other worlds in your realm. In addition to warships, the Protectorate also employs privateer ships which are used to transport cargo between worlds. Okay, so we can get her hot takes as well. Yeah, does the capital stay in contact? It doesn't seem like you do. Yeah, unfortunately not at this time, your lordship. After the few representatives of the Adeptus Astra Telepathica on Dargonus went into a frenzy, some of the psychers were tragically pacified by their respective authorities. Since then, communication with the neighbouring systems has been unreliable at best, thanks to the Master of Mankind that you managed to find your way to the capital. Well, I think it was our navigator, but, you know. Whatever. If the noble houses are so volatile, what sense is there in keeping them? Over the many centuries, an intricate hierarchy has formed within the ruling elite of Dargonus. The great houses do more than plunder your treasury. It is replenished to a large degree thanks to their administrative work and their lands. Naturally, you can get rid of anyone whom you consider surplus to requirements, but right now it could threaten the fragile stability that is currently holding the Protectorate together. Alright, tell me about the Governor. Urban Driveston is a well-respected man, and not just on Dargonus, but throughout the Protectorate. For many centuries, his house has supported the capital's administratum and the logistics between the Von Valancius systems. The Driveston's efforts secured years of order and prosperity for Dargonus. What's more, Lady Theodora personally insisted the Lord Urban specifically be made the next governor. Then why am I just finding disaster after disaster everywhere I go? That's what ticks me off about this. Oh, they're all really good. They're doing a great job. Well, how come everything's completely stuffed then? I hear a hint of either contempt or resentment. No, I don't believe I feel either, your lordship. We have different views on how to run a world. We sometimes have discussions over the laws that are enacted, but we both work for the good of the Von Valancius Protectorate. That much can be said without a doubt. Yeah, whatever. Are there any other issues I should be aware of? Apart from the disrupted communications, Dargonus was recently raided by enemies of humanity. What? However, the fleet under the command of Captain Marthius Werserian triumphed over the Curzinos. If you ask for my opinion on this matter, we have the situation completely under control. We got attacked by Ailamaus? That's horrifying. You catch her avoiding your gaze for just a moment. For the first time, it's obvious that Clementia is looking out for her house's good name. But despite the confidence in her tone, you can tell that she does not entirely believe her own words. Bro, this place is a snake pit. I say we just put Pascal in charge. Screw all these guys. Thank you for the report, Chancellor. I serve the Von Valancius Protectorate, your lordship. Alright, bring on the douchebag. I shall arrange for him to be escorted to your study. What? To my study? I don't want him in my study. Drifter von Valancius, 20th in his line, rogue trader, keeper of the sacred warrant, and the ruler of the Cronus, expands from the Cronarch system to the 100 Dreams crossroads. I bid you welcome. Urban Drivestum, governor of this great world, first and foremost, please accept my deepest condolences. It will be difficult to recover from the loss of a woman as great as Theodora von Valancius. It pains me to think she is no longer with us. The citizens of Dargonus and of the entire Protectorate grieve alongside you. Please allow us to declare half a year of mourning so that we can honour the memory of our beloved lady. Yeah, I'm not fussed. If that's what you want to do, go for it. I will immediately give all necessary instructions, your lordship. Esteemed Drifter, Lady Theodora was a strong leader and we ought to follow her example. Let us lean on our wisdom and persevere in spite of this tragedy, together, and let us carry on where she no longer can by leading the von Valancius Protectorate to even greater prosperity. Alas, it won't be an easy task to accomplish. I bet it won't. What disaster are you about to dump in my lap there, buddy? Some time ago, the astropaths of Dargonus flew into a rage and they had to be subdued. We are gradually restoring our ability to speak with neighbouring worlds, but the contacts are still weak, and the routes are tangled and no longer lead to the systems that the captains expect them to. Given that the vast majority of ships in the Dargonus Navy travel without relying on the services of navigators, without your engagement, the well-being of the von Valancius dynasty and billions of its subjects is presently at risk. Yeah, tell me about yourself and House Drivestum. It would be my pleasure to enlighten you. My house is the oldest and most respected on Dargonus. Well, that's your opinion. My ancestors walked side by side with yours for many generations as they cared for this world's welfare. Our duty is to supervise the governing bodies within the system subservient to you, and we are responsible for the Protectorate's logistics and economic stability. As for me personally, I am a humble servant of the Emperor and a loyal subject to the rogue trader, and to my great pleasure I had the honour of calling myself Lady Theodora's close friend. At Urban's last words, Abelard lets out a sound that could be interpreted as either a snort or a cough. Urban gives him a look which Abelard meets with an expression of utter nonchalance. Abelard hates this douchebag as much as me. Yeah, we met a ship from Dargonus not too long ago. The crew was transporting a strange artifact and went mad during the flight. This is truly regrettable bit of news. What's more, leaving Dargonus has been forbidden for several cycles now. It seems the Wessarian family has once again failed in their primary responsibilities. He shoots Abelard a condescending look. We will investigate this at once, as well as the fact that the ship had to acquire a permit with the Administratum seal. Does your nephew still serve at the Administratum Palace? The governor presses a number of buttons on the cogitator built into his bracer and looks up at you in surprise. I don't understand. The ship did indeed depart from orbit, but it did so, if you can believe it, on the rogue trader's authorization. That is why no one dared to impede its departure. Lord Captain, it would seem that Conrad somehow got his hands on a copy of your authorization, or perhaps even the original. A tool like that in the hands of a trader does not bode well. Okay, yeah, have you seen him here? Lord Voitvere visited the capital some time ago, but he did not request a personal meeting. A heretic, you say? Now I see where all the whispering in the corridors has come from. I shall be frank with you. Lady Theodora's sudden death was a blow to every one of us, and the absence of any sort of verifiable and complete information about her successor gives grounds for all manner of rumours and misinterpretations, especially if someone is deliberately inciting unrest and discontent. Naturally, none would dare challenge you by accusing you of something as sacrilegious as murdering a rogue trader. However, Conrad Voitvere was once a true boon to the Protectorate back in the day, and as such, some might heed his words. Yep, I will prove myself worthy of my position. Why, Drifter, your desire is most commendable, but please do not forget, a ruler should never bow to their attendants, or some might see it as a show of weakness. Okay, so yeah, what do you want me to do about the warp routes being complete trash? We are all troubled by the fate of the agri-world Janus that supplied Dargonus and other planets with foodstuffs. Empty stomachs can drive even the mildest rabble to revolt. Furthermore, House Graphic is perturbed by the loss of communication with the industrial world Kiabagema, which is in their charge. But if you wish to know my opinion, the world that deserves your attention the most is the world of Feabas 6, one of the key mining suppliers in your protectorate. Yeah, does your house happen to own the extraction stations there? Your lordship, I beg of you, do not interpret my words as an attempt to influence your decisions in any way. You see, without Viabo 6, the manufactorums on your worlds will need to make haste to find new suppliers elsewhere and arrange for new shipments, and in these troubling times, they run the risk of delays and other most tragic mishaps. My only concern is for the prosperity of the von Valancius dynasty. Okay, yeah, well, we went to Janus already. Truly, the Viat line is one of the oldest in the von Valancius protectorate. If the inheritor of such well-respected blood could not handle whatever had befallen her, then the situation must have been extraordinary indeed. Yeah, she was worshipping chaos, and well, we showed her what we thought about that. Ruinous powers, truly horrifying news. I commend your resolve and unwavering severity. Death to the enemies of humanity. And we also went to Kiavagama. Such woeful tidings, your lordship. I assume that House Grapak is in for an official investigation. If I may remind you, they have particularly close ties to the Adeptus Mechanicus and serve as patrons of Kiavagama. Not to speak in the defence of criminals, your lordship, but from where I stand, the outbreak of heresy on Kiava could hardly have been perpetrated by a noble family who stands to lose the majority of their wealth should the industrial world fall. We won't wait for the investigation. Yeah, we'll wait for the results. Most reasonable, your lordship. But what of the industrial world? Are we to expect trade to recommence? Yeah. Yeah, because we got them to rebuild all the machines, put them back into service. So yeah. House Grapak will be overjoyed to hear it. I thank you for dispelling the darkness around the fate of Kiavagama. That does it for the planet's trade routes. What else? Xenos, your lordship. I don't rightly know where to begin. Otherworldly beasts are not an uncommon sight in the Coronus expanse. They have been a menace to the worlds this side of the Maw for decades. But now those abominations are on the rampage. They show no signs of fear as they attack ships, either damaging them to the point where they become unfit for transport duty, or outright gutting them. Only you have the power to stop this madness. We are in the process of restoring the astropathic choir of Dargonus. Luckily, we were forced to slay only some of the deranged psychers, although those that remain are as yet unable to transmit messages. I hope Master Scalander will keep his word and offer you his support in the war against the Xenos. According to his reports, the region of Viabu 6 has been of particular concern in the last few cycles, which is all the more reason to discover the colony's fate as soon as possible. Alright, so we got somewhere else to go and very little navigator's insight to get there. Now, to issues on a smaller scale, there is a certain degree of tension in the capital due to the unorthodox secession to the Sacred Warrant. Chances of uprisings are minimal, of course, and the spreading of rumours is nothing but a sign of weakness of mind and spirit. Nonetheless, I've prepared a list of minor houses that have demonstrated unseemly discomposure at your succession. What is to be done about them? I don't really like any of those options. Like unseemly discomposure. That's way too vague. Like, what does that mean? It doesn't mean anything. Yeah, I think we just do nothing then. Like, I'd like to meet with them and be like, hey bro, you got a problem? You know, say it to me directly, buddy. But it seems that's not an option. So, who cares, man? A noble decision, lordship. Let us hope others do not mistake your magnanimity. Magnanimity. It's magnanimous. For weakness. Alright, well, whatever. Reading is not my strong suit, clearly. And one last thing, your lordship, your inauguration as bearer of the Sacred Warrant is but a matter of time, and I would like to inquire about one crucial detail. I imagine you are intending to uphold the centuries-old tradition, bolstered by an equally long-lasting friendship of being represented on Dargonus by one of the noble houses. I presume that, as before, this duty will be accorded to House Driveston. Yeah, I don't care, just don't fight too hard over the bone. The governor hurriedly lowers his head in an obliging bow, but you catch a glimpse of the grimace on his face. He is clearly displeased by your words. In that case, I think it's appropriate not to change the established order of things. You will be represented by the Governor House of Driveston. Is that all? Thank you for your time. Your lordship, since duty calls, I shall take my leave. May the Emperor's grace be with you. Okay. So we got to go to that mining place at the very least. Hey, the worlds of the Von Valencia's protectorate are being terrorized by enemies of humanity. The Xenos raids may have struck the penal world of Viabos. So we got to go there. Terrible news from Dargonus, Lord Captain. A subsidiary hive city, Scipione, has been destroyed in a series of cascading failures. Production has halted and millions of people have broken their vows of obedience and are fleeing. Many of them are perishing in the wastelands and overloading the transport lines leading to neighbouring hives. The surrounding residential sectors are becoming increasingly agitated by the influx of refugees. What is your directive regarding the distribution of these refugees? Oh, damn. Alright, so what are our options? So we can open the gates. We will not abandon a single person. Establish labour settlements in the ruins and relocate the refugees there. They have much work ahead of them. These commoners think that I would be merciful to those who facilitate the hive's destruction, eliminate any who try to enter the cities. What is the cause of the catastrophe? It is still unclear. The noble houses are casting blame on one another. Agents of the esteemed Achilles Scalander stationed in Scipione died heroically while trying to save the population from the disaster. Their final reports mentioned some vulnerabilities in the industrial sectors of the lower hive, but did not go into further detail. All your servants are currently too busy dealing with the consequences of the crisis to investigate its causes. What say my advisors? The death of Achilles' agents troubles me. It may not be a coincidence. Until the cause of this disaster can be concretely established, I would avoid letting refugees into other hives. There may be saboteurs among them. I recommend setting up prohibitive cordons where the refugees can be contained in the wastelands between the hives. The Emperor bids us to face the often cruel strokes of fate with dignity. If the other hives do not wish to accept the unfortunate victims of this tragedy, then let the victims themselves teach those living in the hives a lesson in resilience and humility. I'm sure that the Ecclesiarchy will aid the refugees in constructing camps to survive out in the wastelands and establish a community of proud desert-dwelling martyrs. Such harsh conditions will be a crucible of fortitude and fearlessness, this tragedy a feat of spirit. The noble houses are trying to wash their hands of this, how predictable, and yet it is their duty to see it that the planet meets its tithe obligation and brings glory and revenue to the treasury in your absence. Let the aristocrats see to the refugees and not stop until every last one of them has been put to work. So the original three options have disappeared, and now our options are set up prohibitive cordons at the perimeter of the hives, see to it that the Ecclesiarchy does not ignore the laments of the dispossessed, so just throw them into the desert. Abelard, remind the noble houses of their duties. Yeah, I mean, we can't put them in a ghetto. That's messed up. Yeah, I think, yeah. Let's go with Abelard. Lady Clementia will ensure that your declarations find their way into every ear and are zealously embraced. The hives that have accepted the refugees now overflowing with surplus labour. The refugees are willing to work twice as hard as the usual workers who are already exhausted by their everyday toils. Many refugees have entered the rogue trader service and replenished his ship's crew. Yeah, man, we need yous. Old Theodora got like 20,000 people murked, so, and like every time we do a warp jump, somebody's getting iced. So yeah, we can take you. Dargonus' nobles took no pleasure in distributing the refugees. Some of them have found their way into the personal service of the nobles, thankful to receive a Nutribar and a mat to rest on for 4 hours between shifts. Others could only attain the most grueling jobs at the manufactorums and service stations. They may be oppressed, but they have survived. A diaspora scattered across the hives of Dargonus. Idea a space elevator? Bro, that thing's gonna get blown up in 2 seconds. Alright, so... yeah, see, yeah, security's down. No, I reckon we just rebuild the city. I think that's what we do. I think that's absolutely what we do. Alright, so I think we can find the secret information now. We've got the 2 things that we need. Yeah, hand the Dargonus databank to the tech priest. Okay, we've done that. And then hand the Kiava Gamma. Alright, now, the great mechanism has transformed the secret data into a format that you can comprehend without the assistance of a servant of the Omnissiah. Okay. The databank decryption procedure has been completed without complicate... Uh-oh. The tech priest stops short. The green lights of his visor, fixed on the cogitator's vid screens, flicker nervously. So we've got an item, a preliminary report on N4073. Strings of numerical code begin appearing with frightening speed. This time the numbers are interspersed with words you can understand, and those words from legible sentences. Epitaph brought her to the beginning. Epitaph begot the incident, that which destroyed and changed everything. The incident became the starting point. The incident breathed life and marked the beginning of all. It marked the beginning of Nomos. It created Nomos. Unacceptable deviation, violation of the sacred protocols, possibility of tech heresy. Omnissiah, shield us from all heresy. A few moments later, the vid screens darken and flicker to life again. Yeah, what was that? A catastrophic mistake, a heinous violation of the purity of the hallowed code. This mechanism is touched by heresy. It is branded and tainted by it. Now the machine spirit produces code as before, and yet, Lord Captain, heed my plea. All operations on this machine must be halted until the Engineer Prime has inspected it. I saw a word among the lines of code, Nomos. What does it mean? That is a mystery to me. If this mechanism truly is tainted, then could it be? If heresy truly has taken hold of this machine spirit and scorned the Omnissiah's every tenant, then the spirit's madness could be such that it has chosen a name for itself. But that is nothing more than my hypothesis. Right. Okay, well, yeah, report it to Pascal then. My knowledge is insufficient to cleanse the code of this mechanism. I will inform the esteemed Engineer Prime of this disturbing development. Only he has the power to expel the heresy from this corrupted machine spirit. Okay. Well, you gonna do that now, or you just gonna stand around? Right. Well, that was anticlimactic. Anyway, let's see what's in this report. Oh, that means I've got to find the report. Oh dear. Preliminary report. Yeah, this is it, hey. Okay, subject of study, active samples of the terrible disease, a sign named Tech Blight. The Tech Blight is capable of corroding matter and destroying it from within at a terrifying speed. This deadly plague infects mechanisms as well as any metals and other materials used in their bases. No technology known to the Crimson Priesthood, neither gifts from the Great Omnissiah nor heretical products of Xenos, can withstand this onslaught. The disease poisons and warps the very essence and taints the code of sacred mechanisms. The Tech Blight triggers an effect that is repulsive at its core. It transforms metals into horrific forms of an unpredictable nature. During testing, it demonstrated the ability to fuse solid matter with organic objects, creating something new as a result. The phenomenon was assigned the name tech splicing. Method of transportation: ceramic capsules. Burnt clay is the only thing that can contain the pestilence. Extra caution must be taken given the container's fragility. Any damage might result in an uncontrolled outbreak. Damaging the containers is unacceptable. Current stage: tests to subjugate the tech blight to his will and turn it into a weapon subject to the Omnicized wisdom. Test result assessment: success. So they did it. The tests triggered an event recorded under the name Incident N87204. The quest for knowledge in his name will continue. The tech blight was created in the darkness of unknown worlds, away from the eye of the great creator. Any taint that exists to harm the machine god's creations can and will be bent to his will. Anyway, that was unsatisfying, so whatever.